Let's go get some cherries, sweetie pie.
Alrighty. You want to grab your hat?
Good old Indiana Jones hat.
Yes.
I love this thing.
Yes. Alrighty.
Right.
Pretty day.
It is.
It's like perfect.
We met each other at the Piano School of Technology for the Blind. She was an artist painting a piano fundraiser, and I was going there doing extra classes because the school mainly taught tuning and basic repair. And I happened to be working in the same classroom as she was painting the piano, and I walk in and put my hand on the wet paint, of course. And we both say, "Oh no, sorry," because I thought I destroyed her painting.
Yeah, and I was really awkward because, I don't know, I'd never really been around blind people very much.
She asked me out first. I had this huge patch of peas at the Marshall Center Community Garden. And so I called her back and asked if she wanted to help me pick peas in the garden.
But I loved it. It was the best first date that I've ever been on.
I love to be in my wood shop because I get lost in my projects. It's definitely my happy place because when I've got a bowl on the lathe and I'm carving away, there's nothing else but me and that bowl. I see it in my mind and I feel the wood change as I'm carving, and you're not really supposed to have your hand on it while you're carving, but it changes so fast. If I didn't, I would look like a blind guy made it. So. One of my main inspirations is just creating things. The Woodwright shop on PBS, I always loved watching that guy, especially the lathe. It just transforms like magic, and I remember wishing I could do those kind of things. My name is John Furniss. I'm 37 years old, and I live in Washougal, Washington, but I grew up in Colorado, Wyoming, and Utah, basically. At 16 years old, I attempted suicide by shooting myself, and luckily only lost my sight and sense of smell. My mind was left completely intact. I finished out high school, and then when I turned 18, I moved out back to the town I grew up in, and that was a bad idea. I got into meth, and I got into trouble with the law, and ended up on probation, and just downward spiral, really. I moved back in with my folks after that happened, and they helped me get off of meth and get off probation. Little ways after that, I started attending fine woodworking classes at a school for the blind in Salt Lake City. I found my thing. It's like seeing again to me, to be able to take that image in my mind and make it a real object. Annie put the things I was making on Facebook, and people wanted to order them. I jokingly say she's my press secretary, but it's totally true, because I don't know anything about Facebook or Instagram, and I'd probably be taking pictures of my nose anyway, you know.
Well, it helps that I'm your biggest fan.
Yeah,
you know?
that too, because really, without her putting me out there on Facebook and Instagram, no one would know who I am. What do we got there, sweetie pie?
That one looks like Paduke.
Annie helps me separate the colors.
And this one is Yellow Heart.
Okay. I just picture him in my mind. I've got a a full CAD program in my mind. This one here, is that dark or light?
This one, it's like a light medium.
Okay.
So it almost doesn't.
And I try to come up with as unique of a design as I possibly can. Every bowl starts pretty much as a slab of wood like this, depending on, you know, size or whatever. You sand it, or cut it to size, and then sand it and flatten it out as much as possible where your glue joints are going to be. And I am particularly picky about my glue joints. I will do a dry fitting like this one here without any glue, and then I take that knife, and if the tip of that blade fits into a gap along that seam, I take it apart and I sand more. As you can see, this one's ready to rock and roll.
Art has been an important tool for me in my life. I have struggled with depression since I was about 16 or so. My mother gifted me my great-grandfather's oil paints. It was just a really great way for me to work through some pretty dark times that I was dealing with. I struggled with eating disorders for many, many years, and art was a really great way for me to hone my focus on something else instead of, you know, maybe the pain that I was feeling at the time, or, you know, feeling maybe like I was lonely or didn't belong. I really believe that for my paintings, at least, when I repurpose them, I love using the collective energy that is underneath the canvas. I am working on a piece that is dedicated to my friend Kelly. Kelly was a very prolific artist in Vancouver, and she just passed away from cancer. And she was a very dear friend of mine. So this piece is dedicated to her. When we were in the hospital with her, it was close to her last day, and John had told her, and the wind whispered, Kelly, this is what this one's going to be called. I had started a painting of my grandmother, and I just couldn't quite get it to where I wanted it. And so it kind of has just sat there. And when I came across it, I'm like, well, that's perfect. I'll create the painting of Kelly on the canvas of the painting of my grandmother. She has the same eyes as my grandmother, and she just reminded me so much of her, and I think that's actually one of the reasons we connected so deeply. What better way to honor both of them than to use the same canvas? I was raised in a very, very loving home, and I draw a lot of my inspiration from my family and my friends. My little sister's adopted from Korea. My brother-in-law is Vietnamese. We always had a very diverse group of people in our home because my sister was part of the international club. The religious traditions or cultural, I have really absorbed those into my own life. For the last several years, I've been drawing my inspiration from my husband, from John, and his amazing story and the love that he shares with me. A lot of my pieces, you'll see that the subjects, the eyes are closed. John has his eyes closed because his eyelids have nerve damage, and I always joke with him that he looks like he's reaching nirvana or something because he just looks so peaceful.
I do have sometimes that I get discouraged when I'm working. I've cut the whole side off of a bowl before because I wasn't paying attention. Those times it can get discouraging, but I step away from it for a while and come back to being calm and just go back to it.
This is the iPhone amphitheater or smartphone amphitheater.
It just about doubles it.
This is a honey pot, and you open it, you put honey in it, and there's the dipper. Sometimes John makes bowls that we call
Oops, I mean, ta-da!
that have just little flaws or blemishes like this.
I had some ash and I made this out of it.
And then this ring John made for me. It was our 2nd anniversary,
Yeah.
Right? I love that ring. He's my calm in the storm. We jokingly call him the Annie Whisperer because I have pretty bad anxiety, and he helps chill me out.
It's like we were just meant to be. Okay. Bye.
We actually just celebrated 7 years together. I'd say things are going pretty well.
I'd have to agree.
The program you just watched was presented as part of Move to Include, a public media initiative made possible with support from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, a private corporation funded by the American people.